Welcome back to Boob. Today I'm going to be examining the demigod himself, Badlands Chugs, an absolute king, an absolute visionary on the chug game on YouTube. If you don't know who he is, I strongly encourage you to check out his newest video. But if you don't want to do that, I'll just describe him. He's a bit of a renaissance man. He chugs, he raps,
time to eat, no games now, man, it's time to eat.
And boy does he burp. His burps are so powerful they can fend off a small army, and today I'm going to be ranking them. Now, any ordinary ranking system comparing burps would just be obliterated by Badlands Chugs. I can't compare him to anybody else. He blows everybody else out of the water. So I have to create a list comparing his own burps to themselves. Now, this is only fair to everybody else in the game. This is the only way that this puts an accurate picture on the quality of his burps. So lean back, grab a bowl of chips, and let's dig in. Now, with this video, it's just a basic Badlands Chugs burp. He just chugs 2 liters of Coke and lets out a classic, dignified belch. Now, Badlands Chugs has better burps. This is an okay burp by his standards. We're just gonna ease our way into the list here with a solid C. It is a solid C. I'm happy with this assessment. Badlands can do better, he will do better, and we'll see it in the forthcoming list. Now, this belch is after a failure. Badlands could not finish the chug. There was just a tiny bit of carbonated water left, and he just couldn't get it down. However, I would say that this burp saved the entire video. Now this burp is angry. You can sense that he is mad of his failure. This burp is to recover everything that he lost. This is a good burp. Is it the best burp? No. It has the girth, it has the depth, it has the reverberations, but it just doesn't have the length. B. This burp is interesting. You can see the realization that hits him as he releases all of this energy in the burp. This burp is cathartic. He relaxes all of this tension and stress leaving his body. Just to top it all off, the end of the burp is met with a warm smile. This, again, is a solid B. This burp had character, just along with the angry burp. Now this right here is Badlands Chugs' crowning jewel, the magnum opus. Badlands Chugs is indeed a prolific burper, but this right here is the burp to crown them all. Without a question, without a shadow of a doubt, this burp is S tier. Never before has a burp been so loud, so long, so fueled with so many emotions and with such a passion for life. This is the greatest burp. Now this burp is pretty damn good. He's kinda jolly in this burp. He's happy to be sharing this burp with you. He cocks his head a little bit. He lets out a smile. It is a long burp. It's deep and it's good. This is certainly A tier. What sets it apart from these two burps is simply the length. This split into 2 separate burps, both albeit not great. What we have to take away from this though, is that Badlands Chugs stuck to his guns. He followed through. All I'm saying is that we can all learn from Badlands Chugs in the sense that dedication, determination, and following through is essential. I will say that the message itself brought up the ranking a little bit, but we have to remember, that's not what we're ranking it off of. For the burps themselves, unfortunately I have to put it into C tier. This one perfectly encapsulates the allure of this man's burps. As I mentioned earlier, he is somewhat of a demigod. Look how he reclines. Look at how he leans back like a Greek god, letting himself burp, showing no mercy to any mortal around him, deafening them in one quick blow. A tier. This burp is forced out of him. It pushes past every restraint he tries to make.
No.
It pushes past any restraint. Quote, no. Badlands Chugs doesn't want this burp to happen. He has to restrain it somehow, but he just can't. The burp blasts its way out of him. It almost sounds like a demon escaping from the depths of hell. That is how a burp should sound. A tier. Now for these next few videos, I'm going to be doing a bit of a rapid fire. Unfortunately, this video is a bit unimpressive. If you listen to the burp itself, it's being drowned out by all the background noise. His heart doesn't really seem in this burp. It's just a D tier, unfortunately. Now this burp is surprising in the fact that a burp of this size was created by Badlands Chugs. You would expect this burp of a mouse, of a hamster, or even maybe a raccoon. But of a 6'4", 300-pound man, you would never expect it. Unfortunately, this has to go into F tier. Now, this one is kind of interesting. Personally, I think it takes away from the grandeur of the burp when it's segmented into 5 separate burps. What we're looking for is big, single, strong, clean burps here. Just 5 small burps won't cut it for me. I'm putting this one in D tier. This burp down here was delivered with a lot of oomph. You know, it had a lot of moxie. Did you see the tears in his eyes? You know, I will concede that the burp itself wasn't amazing, but did you see the tears in his eyes? This was after drinking so much Tropo Chico carbonated water. And for anybody who has had that before, you know how carbonated that is. But the quality of the burp itself is kind of holding back its ranking a little bit. I'll just compromise and put it in C tier. Continuing the list, I really enjoyed this burp. It had poise, it had precision, it had power, it had the 3 Ps, okay? You can't argue that this was not a good burp. But it's just that. It's limited to a good burp. B tier. This burp has a certain airy quality about it. Hopefully after hearing that burp, you understand what I mean by that. It's definitely not as good as the burp that we just observed, so I have a hard time putting it in B tier, but it just doesn't feel right in C tier. I'm going to have to put it in C tier. The reason I'm putting it next to this one had character. Okay, this one, there were tears, there was a battle. This one was just a burp. That's all it was. That's why this is in C tier. This burp gives me kind of a warm and fuzzy feeling. The resonance of the burp just carries this warmness about it. It's like it's snowing outside, but you have a roaring fire inside your cabin, and you're wrapped up in a nice soft blanket of Chugs Burps. Because it gives me a good feeling, I'm putting this in B tier. This one right here is a bit of a roar. Now, I hate to be doing this because this burp does have a lot of character, but just like the teary burp over here, this burp is held back by the quality of the burp. For this reasoning, I'm putting it in C tier. Here we have a very impressive burp. Undeniably impressive, if you ask me. It's certainly better than these 3 A tiers up here, but it just doesn't have the same effect as this S tier burp. I'm torn, but I think what I'm going to do is put it... No. I was thinking that I'm going to put it at like half, but I have to commit to tiers here. Man, this is really difficult. I'm going to have to go S tier. It's an amazing, incredible burp. I will ever so slightly make it lower. This burp here catches Badlands Chugs completely off guard. Burps come with a certain suddenness. That's part of the nature of burps. But what is also the nature of burps is for them to blend in with their environment, or for them to sometimes be in 5 separate burps. This is a burp of an average Joe, which means for Badlands Chugs, it's a bad burp. I'm going to have to put this in D tier. It's said that one should save the best for last. Unfortunately, that's not what we're practicing here. I wish I could have given a better end to the video, but it's just 2 unimpressive burps back to back. Just to fill in E tier, I'll just plop it back there. I hope you had a good time watching this video. If you believe I made any errors, please feel free to correct me. I'm subject to making mistakes, for I'm just a man compared to Badlands Chugs. This is a relatively new channel, so any constructive criticism would be appreciated. I hope you have a great and bountiful day.